The lights inside the arena burned bright as thousands of fans leaned forward in anticipation. The atmosphere in Japan was electric. Heavyweight fights always carry a different kind of tension, because at any moment, one punch can change everything. Standing in opposite corners were two dangerous men. On one side, the undefeated Ukrainian powerhouse, Andrei Kovalev, a fighter who had built his reputation on regional dominance, crushing opponents with relentless pressure and sheer toughness. His record was perfect, but tonight, he faced a much bigger challenge. Across the ring stood Jairzinho Rosenstruik, a devastating striker known for his knockout power and calculated patience. Calm, composed, and dangerous, Rosenstruik carried the quiet confidence of a man who had been in wars before. But before the fight could truly explode, controversy struck. Just moments after the opening bell, the referee stepped in and issued a yellow card against Kovalev. Under Rizin rules, that meant an immediate penalty, 10% of his purse gone instantly. The crowd buzzed with confusion. The accusation? Grease on Kovalev's body, something that could make grappling exchanges slippery and difficult for his opponent. The warning raised the stakes immediately. Another yellow card, and the fight could end. Finally, the fighters returned to action. Kovalev began probing forward with a jab, bouncing lightly on his feet despite his heavyweight frame. Rosenstruik stayed patient, studying his opponent with sharp eyes. Then the first real exchange came. A powerful right hand from Kovalev cut through the air. Moments later, Rosenstruik answered with a sharp counter of his own. The punches landed heavy, the kind that echo across the arena. And suddenly, the crowd realized something. This wasn't just a fight. It was a collision between two heavyweight monsters, and neither man was backing down. As the first round unfolded, Rosenstruik began to showcase the subtle intelligence behind his striking. He wasn't rushing forward recklessly. Instead, he controlled the rhythm of the fight. A jab, then another, then suddenly a pause, then a sharp right hand crashing through Kovalev's guard. The unpredictability made him dangerous. Rosenstruik constantly changed the timing of his combinations, sometimes throwing a jab cross immediately, other times delaying the cross until his opponent relaxed. It was a calculated trap, and Kovalev was walking right into it. Several heavy punches landed clean on the Ukrainian fighter. Hooks, counters, and powerful crosses snapped his head back, drawing gasps from the crowd. Yet Kovalev refused to crumble. Even after absorbing brutal shots, he kept marching forward with relentless determination. His toughness was becoming the story of the fight. But by the time the first round ended, many observers felt Rosenstruik had the edge. Then, the second round began, and everything changed. Kovalev finally switched tactics. Instead of trading strikes, he suddenly shot forward for a takedown. Using the ropes for leverage, he twisted his opponent's balance and dragged Rosenstruik down to the canvas. The crowd erupted. Now the fight had moved into unfamiliar territory. On the ground, Kovalev controlled the position, trying to pass the guard and establish dominance. For several minutes he worked patiently, looking for openings to advance his position. But Rosenstruik stayed calm. He defended intelligently, blocking mount attempts and preventing dangerous submissions. Kovalev had control, but something was missing: damage. Despite his dominant position, he wasn't landing the kind of strikes that could end the fight. Meanwhile, Rosenstruik waited, patient, calculating, because every heavyweight fight eventually reaches a moment where everything changes. By the time the third and final round began, both fighters were breathing heavily. Heavyweight battles drain energy quickly, and this one had taken a brutal toll. Sweat poured from their bodies as they stepped forward once again, knowing the fight was still hanging in the balance. Rosenstruik began to increase the pressure. After surviving Kovalev's grappling attempts, he returned to the striking exchanges that favored him earlier. When he found an opening, he attacked with explosive power. A powerful exchange sent Kovalev stumbling backward, and suddenly Rosenstruik was on top, raining punches down with dangerous intent. This was the moment Kovalev feared. From the bottom position, he desperately tied up his opponent's arms, trying to limit the damage while searching for a way to escape. But the punishment was adding up. Kovalev's movements were slowing. Fatigue was clearly taking over. Still, the Ukrainian fighter refused to quit. The final minutes turned into a battle of survival. Both men clinched repeatedly, looking for precious seconds to catch their breath. Even the referee urged them to pick up the action as the clock ticked down. The crowd hoped for a dramatic knockout, but the finish never came. When the final bell sounded, both fighters stepped back, exhausted after 15 minutes of war. Rosenstruik walked confidently around the ring, holding his country's flag. Across the ring, Kovalev leaned against the ropes, drained but still standing. Then came the official verdict. The judges' scorecards were read, and the winner was clear: Jairzinho Rosenstruik. Despite the early yellow card controversy and Kovalev's grappling control, Rosenstruik's powerful striking had done enough to secure the victory. His record improved to 5-0. For Kovalev, it was the first loss of his career. But the war had proven one thing for sure: both